performance, act, carry out, fulfill, do, make something happen. All these definitions for one word, performance. One that Marilyn Burns does in a certain cult movie. That's not really cult, but that is considered a true classic. All I had that features a certain device used to chop wood in half, I would say, yes. What am I talking about? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or is chainsaw 2 words? Who cares? 40 years ago, 5 youths on a weekend getaway in the Texas countryside fell prey to a butcher in a mask made of human skin and his cannibalistic family, and horror cinema would never be the same. Violent, confrontational, and shockingly realistic. Director Tobe Hooper's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre terrified audiences in a way never thought possible when it was unleashed on a politically and socially tumultuous America in 1974. Facing a storm of controversy, censorship, and outcry throughout its troubled release, this masterpiece of horror has stood the test of time to become a landmark motion picture and cultural milestone. To celebrate the film's 40th anniversary in 2014, and its enduring ability to scare audiences both old and new, Dark Sky Films proudly presents The Texas Chainsaw Massacre in an all-new 4K digital restoration with a newly created 7.1 surround sound supervised by Tobe Hooper. Get ready to experience fear in a whole new way. Dang. What can be said about this near-flawless movie? Well, the fact that this probably inspired the face of Jigsaw, and of course, there's possible there could be cannibals anywhere in the world, is a scary thought. Surprisingly, not much blood. So, a group of 5 young adults are traveling to Texas to handle the estate of one of the daughters. One of the grandfathers of the young adults. There's 5 of them. There's a guy in a wheelchair. There's Marilyn Burns and 3 others that really don't matter that much, but had a decent career. And first, it's like, what can I say? 83 minutes of just pure atmosphere. Not too much music besides what was licensed. It just sounds that an animal would hear in a slaughterhouse. This is just absolutely insane. Directed by Tobe Hooper. Got the idea when he was inside a warehouse with a large line. He saw some chainsaws and said, maybe, I wonder, would a chainsaw get up the line to be able to move faster? The answer is yes. Last time I saw this was roughly a decade, 13 years ago. And I said, I need a refresher. This thing still holds up fantastically well. There are several amazing scenes. There's the hitchhiker, where they get in, has the knife, and just kind of does this with himself. Does the same thing to Franklin, the guy in the wheelchair, who's even playing with a knife of his own, and it's just like, what? So he leaves a little message outside in blood, and don't know exactly what I was going to say. Eventually, the crew the Scooby-Doo crew, if you will, if they were in a horror movie, managed to make their way to the house. It's dilapidated. And they say, hey, we need some money for some gas, so let us go and ask this even way out in the middle of nowhere house what's going on. Coincidentally, there were some grave robberies. There were some body parts that were found. It's all starting to tie together as we find out what's going on. Leatherface is kind of defending his home from these, I wouldn't say invaders, but people he doesn't exactly know. And, of course, the choice of weapon is the chainsaw, or chainsaw, whatever you want to say. For crying out loud, there's surprisingly not too much blood for a movie that features this word right here. But that's Yeah, but just because it doesn't contain the viscera doesn't mean that it's unsettling. Okay, using a type of lens in order to make this surreal kind of like house that actually people that when the crew acquired these bones and everything else, they thought it was just like, Halloween decorations. No, these are legit bones. I think skeletons from India, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like, what the heck? Yeah, really. Those are bones. I'm just like, that's just creepy as heck. Let's see. The way how they get taken out is sledgehammer, meat hook, chainsaw, just going to town, preserving the body in a meat freezer. So if anyone wants to buy a meat freezer, make sure that there's no body. But yeah, what goes on with Sally, I think? Yeah, Sally, that's her name. Just going on, you're just looking at her, like, just in between the running, the screaming, the close-up of her eyes. This is an unsettling, low-budget, but done correctly style movie. I mean, just the fact that this guy alone wears 3 different masks. The pretty lady, this one, and I forgot what else. We never see his true face. I mean, they even had Gunner, the guy who plays him, actually go to a school for development disabled, I guess the word is, and to learn it. And was very careful and selective about, how to portray his character. And when it was shown to that, they said, yeah, we don't find this offensive given everything that was going on, since I think it was the character, not Gunner Hudson. Yeah. He alone is like, yeah, sympathize with him because he's got a real jerk of a dad who's constantly on him, kind of just batting him, and it's just like, you gotta feel sorry for him. He's just defending his home. But what goes on? Well, I'll tell you what goes on at the dinner scene alone, where there's this old man who's trying to just take an axe, and Lizzie Borden, Sally, is just disturbing. The laughing, the scenes, well, she's screaming, and it is just a surreal, oh my word, sight. Just, jeez, oh Pete's. It's disturbing. There's a little bit of music, but just a lack of music just adds, this is just extremely disturbing. But in the best way possible, though. It's just, they also had Gunner wear 3-inch lift shoes, but he was still able to run a little bit faster than Marilyn Burns. So he would just, in order to, cut down trees or something like that, just to, just so that way they could actually film the scene correctly. Well, it's just, when you look at it, you're just like, oh my word. Eventually, she does manage to escape, manages to track down a hiker who, like a truck or whatever. They managed to kill the other son, who was the hitchhiker in the beginning. They get away, and then somehow Leatherface is seen kind of celebrating with the chainsaw, which is just like, evil still wins no matter what. That will get to you, man. But just the creepy sound. It's not like nails on a chalkboard or the most annoying sound in the world from Dumb and Dumber. This is just the door creaking sound. That's disturbing. What else can I say about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? It's a performance. That's what it is. It's a performance-based character movie, minimal plot. But what happens there when if everything in the background, In fact, it was even a study done. I think some people were encouraged to see, hey, watch this movie, see, what was it? If the killings, the billings that are done off-screen versus the billings that are seen on-screen. People were more disturbed by the billings that were performed off-screen because of the fear of the unknown, and it just led to disturbia, if you will. So, yeah. What else can I say? This is a virtually flawless film. Maybe I would like to see a little bit more out of some of the characters, just because there's this guy, Kirk, who drives the van. What does he do? What does he do? he gets kind of billed, so maybe just a whatever. I don't know. What else can I say besides this is a nearly flawless horror movie? It's not like I said, a man for all scenes as performance based, but jeez, oh Pete. If you want to see a true horror movie that's 50 years old, then I recommend you watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.